A flaw in the system. It's 2012. The glittering lights of a high-stakes casino in London blur into a haze as Phil Ivey walks onto the floor. A poker legend. A man who never loses. But tonight isn't poker. It's baccarat. A game of pure chance. Or so the casino believes. Beside him stands Kelly's son, sharp-eyed and silent, holding a secret no one else in the room knows. Not the dealers, not the pit bosses, not even the surveillance cameras. The cards are dealt. A routine hand. Or is it? With every flip of a card, millions are on the line. What the casino doesn't see is the tiny flaw in their own deck. This isn't luck. It's precision. It's genius. And it's about to shake the gambling world to its core. By the time the dust settles, they'll have won tens of millions without marking a single card, without bending a single rule. But was it really legal? Or did they cross a line no one could see? This is the story of the greatest casino heist ever pulled, without a single rule being broken. Chapter 1. The Exploit, a flaw in the system. To understand how Phil Ivey and Kelly's son pulled off their legendary feat, you first have to know their secret. It wasn't a gadget or a hidden trick. It was something far simpler and far more brilliant. A flaw in the cards themselves. The casino's playing cards were defective. Tiny imperfections on the edges, invisible to most, but glaring to those who knew where to look. And Phil Ivey and Kelly's son knew exactly where to look. Using a technique called edge sorting, they turned these subtle flaws into their greatest weapon. As the cards were shuffled and dealt, they could identify high-value cards with an almost supernatural accuracy. Baccarat was their game of choice. High stakes, high rewards, and a dealer none the wiser. They placed massive bets, using their edge to tilt the odds in their favor. Most importantly, every move they made adhered to the rules. As Ivey later explained, "I didn't cheat, I just understood the game better than they did." But this wasn't just about sharp eyes. It was about strategy, trust, and precision. And it all began with the perfect partnership, Phil Ivey and Kelly's son. Chapter 2. The Players. Phil Ivey and Kelly's son. Phil Ivey, the poker legend. Phil Ivey was already a household name in the poker world. He had earned millions in tournaments, dominated online poker, and signed lucrative sponsorship deals. But beyond poker, Ivey had a deep obsession with beating the casino systems.
Table.
He's a very sharp player. He's a guy you just don't want in your joint. He's very, very smart. He's got an edge, period.
His competitive nature drove him to search for weaknesses in every game. In poker, you can read people. In baccarat, I read the cards, Ivey once said, reflecting on his strategy. This mindset made him the perfect partner for Kelly's son, a gambler with a dark past and a sharp mind. Kelly's son, the gambler with a dark past. Kelly's son's journey wasn't one of glamour. Born into financial struggle, she spent time in jail before discovering the art of edge sorting. Her struggles weren't just personal, they shaped her approach to gambling. After her release, she dedicated herself to mastering the art of identifying flaws. What others dismissed as insignificant, she saw as opportunity. This relentless focus turned her into the perfect strategist. Her partnership with Ivey was no accident. Son's knowledge of edge sorting combined with Ivey's status and skill made them an unstoppable force. "It's not about being lucky," Son remarked. "It's about being smarter than the game." Chapter 3. The Strategy. How Edge Sorting Works. Ivey and Son didn't rely on luck. They had a deep understanding of the casino system and knew exactly how to manipulate it. The cards they used weren't just ordinary cards. They specifically requested Gemco cards, and for good reason. Gemco cards were known to occasionally have tiny imperfections in the geometric patterns on their backs. Imperfections so subtle that most players and dealers would never notice. These flaws were critical to their strategy. By exploiting the imperfections, Son could identify certain cards simply by rotating them. as the irregularities behaved differently depending on the card's orientation. This technique, known as edge sorting, turned those subtle flaws into visual markers. Sun could essentially read the cards, recognizing which ones had the defect, and give Ivey the ability to predict their value before they were revealed. Baccarat is traditionally a game of luck, where the player and the banker aim to get as close to 9 as possible with their 2 cards. But with Sun's sharp eye and the flawed Gemco cards, luck no longer mattered. Pulling off edge sorting wasn't simple. It required specific conditions, private tables, reused decks, and a dealer who wouldn't notice the subtle manipulations. It was all about the details, Ivey explained, getting the conditions just right. Ivey's first request was that an 8-deck shoe of Gemco playing cards be used for the game. The second was that the casino use an automatic shuffling machine, ensuring the cards wouldn't be shuffled manually and disrupting their setup. The third was to have a dealer who spoke Mandarin, allowing Sun to communicate naturally without raising suspicion. But most importantly, Ivey requested that the dealer rotate certain high-value cards under the guise of superstition before placing them back into the deck. To the dealers, these requests seemed harmless. They thought it was just another superstition of a high-stakes gambler. But in reality, they were the keystone of the entire operation, giving Ivey and Sun a powerful edge in a game designed to be unbeatable. Chapter 4. The Success. Millions won in Baccarat. The duo was unstoppable. Over 9 months, they targeted top casinos, including the iconic Crockford's Casino in London and the Borgata in Atlantic City. Each visit was methodical. Kelly Sun identified the crucial cards, Phil Ivey made the bets, and the winnings poured in. At Crockford's, they walked away with over 7.7 million euros in a single session. At the Borgata, their streak continued, raking in $10 million. Each victory added to their legend, and their confidence grew with every flip of the cards. But as their winnings climbed, so did the suspicions. Dealers began to notice their strange requests. Security teams reviewed hours of footage, searching for answers. One executive at Crockford's muttered, "There's no way they were just lucky." The cracks were beginning to show. The question wasn't if the casinos would catch on, but when. Chapter 5. The Conflict. Casinos fight back. When Phil Ivey and Kelly Sun returned to collect their 7.7 million euros in winnings from Crockford's Casino in London, they were met with an icy reception. Instead of handing over the money, the casino launched an investigation. Days turned into weeks, and soon it was clear Crockford's wasn't going to pay. The official stance? Ivey and Sun had used unfair tactics. The casino argued that their requests for specific card orientations and the subtle manipulation of the game weren't in the spirit of fair play. Ivey was furious. "We didn't cheat," he insisted. "We just knew how to play the game better than they did." For him, this wasn't just about the money, it was about his reputation. "I am deeply saddened that Crockford's has left me no alternative but to proceed with legal action," he said. What began as a calculated heist now turned into a high-stakes legal battle. Crockford's stood firm, their lawyers crafting a case around the claim that edge sorting violated the unwritten rules of gambling. For Ivey and Sun, it was a fight for justice, or at least their vision of it. And this was just the beginning. Chapter 6. The Legal Battles. Who was right? The legal battles that followed were intense. In the UK, the courts ruled that edge sorting was a form of cheating, as it gave players an unfair advantage. As a result, Crockford's refused to pay Ivey his 7.8 million winnings. Ivey appealed the decision. But in 2016, the UK Court of Appeal upheld the casino's stance, agreeing that edge sorting violated fair play principles and gave Ivey an unfair advantage. The ruling confirmed that the technique was not allowed under UK gambling laws. Meanwhile, in the US, the Borgata Casino filed a lawsuit after Ivey's $10 million win, accusing him of exploiting the cards. In 2016, the US court ruled in favor of the Borgata, ordering Ivey to repay the money. Despite this, Ivey remained defiant, saying they can take the money, but they can't take away the game. In 2020, after years of legal battles, Ivey settled with the Borgata, but the conflict still raised questions about whether he had cheated or simply outsmarted the casinos. Chapter 7. The Legacy. A film and a new way of thinking. Ivey and Son's story didn't end in courtrooms. Their audacious heist inspired the movie The Baccarat Queen, dramatizing their rise to the top and the casino's attempts to bring them down. But their actions raised deep ethical questions about gambling and strategy. If you find a flaw in the system, is it still cheating to take advantage of it? This question continues to resonate, leaving a lasting impact on casino practices. The price of creativity. Phil Ivey and Kelly Son's story is a testament to creativity and strategy. They exploited a flaw in the system in a way no one could have predicted. Was it legal? Yes. Was it ethical? That's for you to decide. One thing is clear. They outsmarted the system and came out victorious. What do you think? Was it cheating or simply brilliance in action? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling stories like this one.